My guest today is Dr. Benjamin Solomon. Doctor, welcome to the program. And,
Thank you.
You know, you and I have just met recently. Of course, I did know a little bit about you because you had been on TV once before. But tell the people what your actual title is. I called you Dr. Benjamin Solomon, but what is your practice?
Well, my title is Doctor of Clinical Hypnotherapy.
Okay.
And I am a clinical hypnotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an MD.
You're not an MD, right?
In fact, we don't use drugs, needles, or surgery. And we deal with the power of the subconscious mind and how people today are forced to become multi-sensory people opposed to five-sensory people because of the modern advances in technology and the challenges of the world. So we have to use more of our mind and explore more of the subconscious mind, which most people aren't aware of.
That's very interesting, and we're going to get into that. I'm really quite thrilled to have you as a guest. I haven't had anyone in that field as a guest on this show. But before we get into that, is it all right if I call you Ben? Because you and I have talked before, and you call me Monty, I call you Ben. And Ben, let's go back to where you were born, growing up. You did tell me you were born in Wilmington.
Yes, I was born in this wonderful town of Wilmington, North Carolina.
And so you grew up in Wilmington.
No, I didn't grow up in Wilmington.
Oh, you didn't?
But I was born in Wilmington. I moved to Washington, D.C., graduated from high school in Washington, D.C., moved to New York City, and upon my graduation from high school, I had approximately 29 athletic scholarships. One at the LBU, which is an annex of Michigan State University. And on the campus of Michigan State University, I was fortunate enough to meet the Maharishi Yoga, which ended my conventional education because then I became fascinated with the power of hypnotherapy.
Oh.
Now, prior to that portion of my education, I was also in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Yes.
And I lived through 4 crises: Vietnam, Cyprus, Santo Domingo, and Cuba. And upon my discharge from the Marine Corps, I was inundated with many internalized problems that I had to deal with myself. And the Maharishi Yoga, not himself personally, but his people taught me the art and science of transcendental meditation. But it still wasn't enough to rid me of my drinking problem, my smoking problem, my occasional use of drugs upon my release from the Marine Corps. And I was then, subsequent to the training that I received as a transcendental meditator, I was introduced to a hypnotherapist. And after 2 hypnotic sessions, I immediately stopped drinking, smoking, and the thought of using drugs never entered my mind again. So then I realized how powerful the subconscious mind was, and I then wanted to utilize this knowledge to assist other people who had situations similar to mine. Because I wasn't the only one in a situation like this. Many of my colleagues, many of my fellow Marines and people that I knew were dealing with situations that they didn't know how to deal with. So the mind had to be stimulated in order to make us realize that the map is not the territory, and the map is a illusionary conception of how we perceive life. And it's not reality, although we think it is reality. And when we see that illusionary map, which is how we perceive life and how we live life, fall apart, we think we are falling apart because we think it is reality. But reality is when you become a witness, when you stand back and become a witness of your life. And hypnosis teaches you to witness your life opposed to living these things out by thinking that you are your body. I am not this body. I am not my thoughts. I am the witness of all of this. And by getting introduced to that subconscious mind, there's not a force on earth that can keep you enslaved to some kind of situation or issue you would like to rid yourself from.
That's very interesting, yeah. Do you believe in, I've seen them on the bookshelves all over the place, self-hypnosis? Does that work?
Absolutely. I self-hypnotize myself every day. A day doesn't pass when I...
But you're more, but you're attuned to it, you're more into it. What about the average Joe out there that picks up a book like that? Can it work for him?
It would be difficult for a person to self-hypnotize if they don't have the assistance of a clinical hypnotherapist like myself. Now, some people are capable of doing that. Some people have the ability to pick up a book, read, and hypnotize themselves. But there are so many preconceived misconceptions about hypnosis which prohibits the average person from taking advantage of this wonderful art and science. And the biggest misconception is that you're knocked out, you turn control of your mind over to the operator, you lose control, which is nothing could be further from the truth. Because when I have a session with a client, you hear my voice clearly and distinctly at all times. Never do you give control over to me. You maintain control. I can only do what you give me permission to do, because I have to gain access to your subconscious mind by bypassing the critical factor of your conscious mind. The conscious mind is in the way. That's what the problem is. So we have to bypass that critical factor in order to gain access to the subconscious mind, in order to make changes, because the subconscious mind is non-judgmental. Monty, I could have you under hypnosis and tell you that I'm touching you with a lit cigarette, but I actually would touch you with my finger. But a blister would form on your hand as if I actually touched you with a lit cigarette, because the subconscious mind can't distinguish an actual situation from a real situation.
And could that work in reverse, where you actually use a lit cigarette and the person would not feel the pain?
Yes, if I gave them a suggestion that they would not feel pain.
Yeah.
And the person could have anesthesia and analgesia. Many doctors and surgeons and many dentists, people who are allergic to certain anesthesia, have to be hypnotized in order to be operated on as a result of that.
I read that recently.
Yeah.
Some dentists are using that.
Oh,
Some
many.
people are so afraid to go to the dentist, or they can't stand the pain, or
Phobias.
or think they can't stand the pain.
Phobias.
So but maybe the misconception goes back to the old vaudeville years and days, and even early television, when a hypnotist would be on stage, and they have people do the craziest things.
Very good, sir.
Or lay them out on two, and I always remember that, lay them out on two chairs and then be able to stand on their body.
Well, you see, there's good and bad. I'm not knocking stage hypnosis. That's called stage hypnosis. I'm not a stage hypnotist.
No, I understand that, but was that true? Or
Absolutely. The power of the subconscious mind can make you quack like a chicken, dance with a mock, quack like a duck, and do what you just mentioned. But because of stage hypnosis, many people have misconceptions about hypnosis, because stage hypnosis deals strictly with entertainment. The audience is there to be entertained. The hypnotist is there to entertain the audience. And the volunteers are merely exhibitionists that would like to participate in the entertainment of the audience. And when people see people actually making fools of themselves, it's very difficult to take it serious and believe that that same power that can make you quack like a duck, that can make you stop smoking, can make you lose weight, can even deal with many of the autoimmune diseases such as multiple sclerosis, diabetes, and arthritis.
Wow. Yeah.
Because once the pancreas stops producing insulin, if you don't use it, you lose it. And you are feeding your body with artificial insulin, and the body's inability to produce insulin on its own, then it stops.
Wow.
See, the subconscious mind controls all of our involuntary functions, breathing, heartbeat, all the things you take for granted.
Hold that thought a minute.
Yes.
I got to take a quick break here, hard break, get to some commercials, people that sponsor this show, and we'll be right back.
I'm Michelle Daniel with Cape Fear Now, and today we are in the office of Dr. Amir Ben Solomon, who is Wilmington's very own Master Certified Hypnotherapist. It's so exciting to be here with you. I am so interested on learning more about what you do. Tell us how people can change their lives.
Hypnotherapy keeps people healthy, strong, powerful, young, harmonious, loving, happy, successful, upright, independent, and fearless. If a person is intelligent, motivated, hypnotherapy can work miracles for them. People who have issues that may have been suppressed by the conscious mind and not recognized by the conscious mind can easily be rectified by age regression or through age regression. And that same powerful mind that controls your circulation can rid you of any illnesses that you may have. And there's not a force on earth that can keep you smoking or keep you obese or keep you having panic attacks once you imply and invoke the use of your subconscious mind. It can also take a very successful person who has no issues and make them more successful by utilizing the power of their subconscious mind. And when a person rids themselves of smoking, obesity, which causes diabetes, it's just about every problem we have is psychosomatic. And if it's psychosomatic, hypnotherapy can take care of it.
Dr. Ben Solomon, I would love to meet a few of your patients if that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
Marjorie, you've had great success coming here to see Dr. Ben Solomon.
Yeah.
Tell us how hypnotherapy has helped you in your life.
Oh, hypnotherapy has changed my life. I am now a proud non-smoker, and I have been smoking since I was 11 years old. Dr. Solomon has taken away the cravings from cigarettes, and I have control over my mind now.
Amy, what brought you here to see Dr. Ben Solomon?
Well, I came for goal achievement and performance for my business. It's just the most relaxing feeling, and you just feel like you can achieve anything, and whatever you come for, Dr. Solomon can talk you through and get your mind in a way that you can achieve your goals.
Dr. Ben Solomon, thank you so much for letting me speak with some of your patients. But the important thing is people need to know where you're located.
Well, we are located in the Wilmington downtown area in the historic self-help building, 272 North Front Street.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ben Solomon, for letting us join you here this morning at your office. And I'm Michelle Daniel for Cape Fear Now.
Okay, Ben, we're back. Now, this is very interesting. As I said, I had never had someone in your field on the program before. I'd like to talk a little bit. I want to back up a little bit. The first time I met you, we've talked on the phone, but you walked in, you're a pretty well-built fella, and you said you had some scholarships. Now, in what sports did you excel?
Football and boxing.
I kind of had that feeling. Or I could have thought of basketball, but I kind of thought football.
I did play basketball, but I wasn't very good at it.
And boxing, what weight division?
Heavyweight.
You were heavyweight.
I fought in the Golden Gloves. I won the Golden Gloves, and I didn't turn pro.
No.
But I was a very good boxer. But I excelled more in football.
And what position did you
Fullback.
play? Fullback.
Yes.
Well, in them days, fullback. Yeah, yeah. Today, there's all different names.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
but,
it's
yeah.
the basic
You're still
structure.
running. You're still
Yes,
running back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that was great, and you got some scholarships for that. Then,
Yes,
too.
I did.
Wonderful. All right, let's get back to what we're talking about, and that's hypnosis. Well, how long have you been practicing in Wilmington, and where are you located?
To answer your first question, I've been practicing in Wilmington approximately 6 months.
Oh, okay.
I'm located in the historic downtown Wilmington areas, 272 North Front Street,
272.
Suite 201,
Okay.
the self-help building. A brand new, renovated, beautiful building, and I have an office there, and it's working out very well for me.
Well, we'll put that on the screen. That'll be right here on the screen, and we'll
Very
also
good.
put your, you might as well say it on the air, your phone number, they can contact you
910-343-1171.
on 171. Can't forget. That's an easy one.
Very easy number to
Yeah.
remember. And most of my clients now are coming as a result of word of mouth referrals.
Yeah.
Because I have a 98% success rate in stopping anyone from smoking.
And
And a 95% success rate in making people lose weight.
Is that your biggest amount of patients, your largest amount of patients? Would you say it's from smoking and weight, gaining weight, or are there some other?
And emotional disorders, but mainly because of the fact that so many people are smokers and would like to stop smoking, but they can't stop because they try to use the willpower to stop smoking, and the willpower is in the conscious mind, but the habit is in the subconscious mind. And as long as the subconscious mind visualizes and sees you as a smoker, it's impossible to use your willpower and stop smoking. So it has to be changed from a subconscious perspective. So what we have to do is, again, bypass the critical factor of the conscious mind by relaxing the nervous system and relaxing the body. But the mind is wide awake. When you're in hypnosis, you hear me, you are more alert than you are now.
It's not the concept that you go to sleep, you close
No,
your eyes.
that's
and,
that's another one of the biggest
big
misconceptions.
yeah,
No,
okay.
you don't go to sleep because sleep is delta. You have 4 levels of consciousness. Right now we're in beta, full beta consciousness. Then you have alpha, then theta, then delta. Hypnosis takes place between alpha and theta. Delta is sleep,
Okay,
a dreamless sleep. Theta is where you dream.
where you're dreaming.
Right,
Okay.
and alpha and theta between that. But I take my patients down to theta because the deeper you get, the deeper the suggestion is implanted and the more effective
Do
it
you
is.
ever get someone that has such a strong will or a strong will that's very hard for you to hypnotize them?
Well, the stronger the will, the easier it is to
it?
hypnotize a person, which is another misconception. The more intelligent a person is, the easier it is to hypnotize them. The only people that can't be hypnotized are retarded people, or someone with an IQ of 70 or below, or someone with Alzheimer's disease, because they're already in an altered state of consciousness.
Yeah, I see.
But many of my clients are attorneys, and they come in, and the first thing they will say is, "I can't be hypnotized because
tell
my
you
mind."
that, yeah.
I mean, I understand this is an objective that has to be overcome because of the misconceptions. But no, and this is again because of the media and because of the misconceptions again of conjuring up an image of a person in a hat swinging a watch
Yeah,
with some
swinging,
helpless
yeah.
soul saying, "You are under my control, you are under my spell." This is the movie industry because if the masses of the people, the masses, the general masses, the population, which we call the stupid masses, if the stupid masses was aware of the power of hypnosis, the HMOs would go broke.
I think I got you on that one, yeah. I understand.
Because
what you're
there's
saying,
nothing,
Yeah.
most of our problems are psychosomatic. And there's nothing that can't be cured. I won't say anything. I can't mend a broken arm. I can't help a person that has an organically charged dis-ease. But most of our problems are as a result of emotional disorder and a result of stinking thinking.
Thinking.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess you would say then this big problem in the United States with anorexia, that
Yes.
would be
Yes.
from the mind and subconscious. Then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything is locked in the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is like a file cabinet. It keeps a record of every event that's ever occurred in your life, every word that you've ever spoken, every situation you've ever been in. I can regress a person back to the age of 1 and they can vividly recall everything that occurred at their birthday if they had a 1-year-old birthday. And many times that's very therapeutic. We call age regression. And you have life regression. You can go back, and that's an individual belief. If you believe in past lives, reincarnation.
I've seen that
But some
recently,
people,
too, yeah.
oh yes, that's very therapeutic too.
And would you say that works? I mean, I've seen.
Absolutely, it works. But
Well,
again, I believe in it.
well,
but I've
yeah,
seen the miracle of it. I've seen it work. I had one particular client who had a neck problem, and he went to every doctor you could imagine and tried all kinds of therapeutic remedies, but nothing seemed to have cured this neck problem. So we regressed him back, and he regressed back to a soldier in the Roman army, and he fell off a horse and he broke his neck. Now, this is what he was telling me during the regression, and when he came back, his neck problem disappeared.
Well, see, that's what I was going to ask you. Then you've personally seen that yourself, because I've read it and I've seen it on TV, and you don't know whether you believe it or not. That not going back to age 1 or birth, but going back to another life. And you see that, you say, is that true? I mean, you know.
But that's what it's all about, belief.
Yeah.
Believe. What the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. This is old, you've heard it before, but it's an absolutely fact. The subconscious mind snaps the picture, the conscious mind snaps the picture, the subconscious mind develops that picture. So you want to think about what you want, not what you don't want, because the subconscious mind will manifest in your life the dominant thought of your conscious mind. And most people think and dwell on their problems, and that's what is manifested. So if you concentrate on what you want with mathematical certainty, the subconscious mind will produce what you're concentrating on.
Hey, this is interesting. I may have to get you back again and talk sometime. Another question now. Have you got any calls yet or done any work in the hospital or with some other doctors in town? Or
Well, I've spoken to a few dentists who would like for me to train them on the art of using hypnosis as an anesthesia, which has to be what you call instant induction, which has to be done fast.
Oh, and you would actually train the dentist
Absolutely.
to do that. You wouldn't
Yeah.
go in and do it.
No, I would train them.
You would train the
Right,
dentist to
right.
do it. Yeah.
Sure.
But what I was thinking about was and maybe in the future it will be happening, where an MD will call you or someone like that and say, I could use your service with this patient of mine that's having
Oh,
a
that's
problem."
happening. That's happened over the last 30 years. Many of my clients are referred to me by MDs. You know, when they reach a point when they can't do anything else, when they see that it's a psychosomatic situation where nothing medically has worked, so they know it's something that's locked in the subconscious mind, something that a person doesn't want to deal with. See, we don't want to deal with issues. And things that we don't want to deal with, we push them down. We push them down with drugs. We push them down with alcohol. We push them down with cigarettes. We push them down with sex. And we push them down with some healthy things by going to the gym, too much activity, working out every day, every day. That's pushing down something you don't want to deal with. So we just push, push, push. And we don't open that door. And once you open that door, whatever the problem is will subside and dissipate immediately. You'll be amazed if you got in touch. You're operating now on 10% of your mind power. That's the conscious mind. The other 90% is the unconscious mind.
Or the subconscious?
Subconscious. That's the other 90%. I'm sure you've heard, they say Einstein only used 8% of his mind.
I've heard that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And most of us only use 5% of our mind. But if you are able, see, meditation is very good, but the next step from meditation, which is nothing but a form of hypnosis, which means sleep, which is a Greek word which means sleep. But hypnosis started in ancient Egypt. But in ancient Egypt, they called it the sleep temple. This is how they built the pyramids. People would go into the sleep temple and they would heal because they know when the body is in a trance, it automatically mends itself.
Very interesting. And that's
So it's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's old.
Yeah.
It's extremely old. And when the Greeks got it, it became hypnosis.
Ben, it's been great. I mean, I've learned a lot from talking with you, and there's a lot more that you and I could talk about. We're going to have to put that off for another day, though.
I would love to.
Because we could talk so long here that we're going to run out of time.
I admire your show, too. I've seen it, and I'm very impressed with you, sir.
You told me that. Well, we're local. We try to stay local. You're a local person here, and that's what we're aiming for, to introduce you to the audience. So it's been great having you.